What's going on, guys? Welcome into the Bulls Report. My name is Patrick Siepman, and I'm going to be breaking down the breaking news that just came out around your Chicago Bulls, and that is Nikola Vucevic is signing a 3-year, $60 million contract extension with the Chicago Bulls during 2023 NBA free agency. And on today's video, I'm going to be going over a statement from Nikola Vucevic himself, a statement from the Chicago Bulls, and then also just kind of give you my reaction and my thoughts on this move and what I mean and what I think this means for the Bulls kind of moving forward, kind of in this NBA free agent period as a whole, and then obviously just kind of diving into the move and just kind of giving my thoughts on it as well. But guys, this is why you hit that subscribe button and subscribe to us here at the Bulls Report, because I was actually in the pool just chilling outside enjoying my off day, but I decided I got to come on here, obviously give a video or get a video out for you guys and kind of give my reaction. So if you guys haven't hit that subscribe button yet, just go down there, click that big red button. It's a free, easy way to help us out here at Chat Sports, plus just to help me out. I'm trying to grow this Bulls Report channel and just get this channel out to more and more Bulls fans. So if you guys haven't already, help me out. It would make my freaking day if you guys went down there and hit that sub button. But let's talk about it. Nikola Vucevic re-signs with the Chicago Bulls. And this was the statement that Vuce said. And he said he's excited to continue to play for the Chicago Bulls, and this is a direct quote, and is motivated more than ever to achieve our mutual goals as a team. I want to thank Bulls fans for the constant support. You guys are the best part about playing in Chicago. So pretty cool moment quote right there from Vuce, just kind of giving it up to the Bulls fans. But kind of my thoughts on the move as a whole. 3 years, $60 million is not bad for a guy that averaged 17 and 11 this past season. Obviously we all know Vuce. He has that defensive liability factor. Like, he's not good against the pick and roll, and that's what all NBA postseason basketball is. Like, you see teams spam pick and roll in the NBA playoffs and just in the NBA regular season as well, where we've seen him struggle there too. But the defensive kind of inefficiencies and just defects of Vuce's game, for still getting him for 3 years, $60 million, I don't think that's a bad deal just because of what he brings offensively. But I do think this means for the Bulls moving forward in free agency, I do think this means they're going to be aggressive. The report came out that the Bulls are looking to go into the luxury tax and that AK has the green light from ownership to spend money this free agency. So I honestly fully expect the Bulls to bring back Ayo, to bring back Kobe White, and maybe try to swing for a guy like Jeremy Grant or something and maybe dive into that luxury tax, who Jeremy Grant might actually be a solid fit for the Chicago Bulls at that 4 spot, because we really seen them kind of struggle at that area from a production standpoint over the past years. But I do want to share with you guys this. This is the statement from the Chicago Bulls themselves, and this was coming from AK himself. He said, during his time in Chicago, Nikola has proven that he is a special player on and off the court. He has produced at an elite level since we acquired him and will remain an integral part of our foundation moving forward. Nikola's willingness to do whatever is asked of him to help us win, while also being an established veteran leader for our group, makes him a valuable component of the culture of our organization. And I agree, like, having those leaders and those veterans in the locker room, I think they mean now a little bit more than ever. Like, we've seen, and I mentioned this on a video in the past, like, we've seen with Ja Morant and Zion Williamson, like, how they have kind of struggled to kind of reach the maturity level that it takes to be a star player in the NBA, with obviously Zion with the baby mama drama and Ja Morant with the gun scandal and Instagram Live. Like, I do think it helps a lot to have that veteran presence and that veteran force, just kind of be a mentor and just a voice in a young guy's ear. So, like, having a guy like Vuce, I don't think it necessarily, yes, we can talk about the on-the-court factor, but I do think we need to address the off-the-court factor. Where, like, for a guy like Patrick Williams, Kobe White, Ayo Dosunmu, having guys like Vuce and DeMar, I think it should help their development in the long run. We just really haven't seen it come to fruition yet. But I will say this, and I wanted to make this point about the direction of the Bulls. Like, we've kind of assumed that they're going to kind of try to run this thing back and just kind of run this whole kind of big 3 back again and see what happens. And I don't necessarily think this. I don't necessarily think this means that a trade at the trade deadline is impossible. Like, I think maybe the Bulls, and they're going to try to run it back. Let's just say it doesn't go well. Let's just say they're sitting at 500 or a couple games below 500. I think there will be a contender that calls the Bulls line and say, hey, Vooch only signed a 3-year, $60 million deal. We can take on that contract, and we can kind of bring him into our organization, and it's not as big of a cap hit as it would be if he would obviously have signed a 3 for $80. So I do think a sign and trade is still on the table, and obviously the trade rumors around DeMar and LaVine would obviously pick up as well around that trade deadline. But I want you guys to give me your thoughts on the Vooch move down in the comments. Grade the move A, B, C, D, or F. I'll make this a pinned comment on today's video, so YouTube will throw you an ad break right now. Sit back, let it play, and answer today's pinned comment. But I do want to kind of dive in to this a little more and just kind of get my reaction on the whole thing with Nikola Vucevic coming back to the Chicago Bulls. From a productivity standpoint on the court, I do think for bang for your buck, I do think this is a solid move. I'm not the biggest fan of Vucevic's game, but for 3 for 60, honestly, I mean, what other option is there out there right now? If the Bulls would have let Vuce walk, who are we starting at center? Are we going to try to re-sign Andre Drummond and bring him back as a starting center? Because the market is kind of thin right now at the center position. So I think getting Vuce back for 3 for 60 on kind of a hometown discount. We got the report about a week ago that the Vuce was open to taking a hometown discount, and I guess it was right. I mean, he signed a 3 for $60 million contract. So kind of, I guess Vuce just likes being in Chicago, and, I'm happy to have him back. Honestly, I know a lot of fans are probably freaking out about this move, but considering what we already knew about the direction of the Bulls this offseason and how they did want to run it all back with this group, getting Vuce back for 3 for 60, I'm a fan of it. But I will say, with the Bulls kind of running it back, and I kind of wanted to get to this point as well, I want the shot differential amongst the Bulls to change a little bit this next season. Yes, if you are going to bring back LaVine, DeRozan, and Vuce, those guys, yes, they are the 3 best players, but I don't think they should be taking too much of a majority of the shots. We know Vuce. He took 14 shots a game last year. DeMar took 17. LaVine took 18. And you have guys like Patrick Williams, Kobe White, and Ayo sitting around 8, 10 a game. I would rather have those guys up at 12 to 14 and then bring everybody else kind of around the same one and just play more team basketball, because this team does have good role players, and I think the Bulls want to reach their max potential. It is to lean more into the team aspect and team basketball, and I think they could do that because Vuce, he's an underrated passer at that center position. I'm not saying you can replicate what the Nuggets have done, but you can kind of take some pages out of their kind of playbook here and use Nikola Vucevic at kind of that high post area and run a lot of sets off him. I just think you can get creative, and maybe I'm just trying to spin zone this and to make this more of a positive move and get myself fired up about the Bulls. But, I do think if this team were to take that next step this year and maybe somehow jump up to the 5th or 6th seed and make the playoffs and maybe win a playoff series and kind of set a culture there, I think it's going to be more team basketball. I think it means guys like Caruso, Kobe White, Patrick Williams, Ayo Dosunmu, those guys get more shots and take maybe just 1 or 2 or 3 shots away from a guy like Vuce, or DeMar DeRozan, or Zach LaVine. And it has no disrespect to them. I just think that's where the Bulls are their best, is when they are playing that team basketball and having that camaraderie going. So overall, I think it's a solid move. I'm not, overreacting to this too much, just mainly because we knew this was coming. I've seen a lot of Bulls fans on Twitter saying, classic Bulls and all this. I'm like, listen, what else are you going to do better at that center spot? You got him for 3 years, $60 million. He's a good basketball player, and he's going to kind of just set the tone. Obviously, defensively, we know what he struggles with on that side of the court, but that means the Bulls had to bring in somebody at the 4 who can sit down into that chair and be a force defensively. Maybe try to run Vuce at the 4 a little bit and bring in a Clint Capella type of archetype at the center spot. Who knows? Overall, that is the news of the day. Vuce re-signs a 3-year, $60 million deal with your Chicago Bulls. Give me your thoughts on it in the comments. I'll be heading down there and chopping it up with you guys. And guys, this is another reason why you guys subscribe. The Bulls are going to be active during free agency. That's just going to happen. They said they're going into the luxury tax. So anytime any breaking news happens, we have a video for you guys ASAP. You'll be getting me breaking down the full move, getting quotes from whether it's Vuce or whoever comes in there, the new player, and the Bulls front office. And if I'm at the office, obviously that day, you'll have a video fully with graphics and such. So again, thank you guys so much. As I hit the mic right there, it probably blew your eardrums off, but sorry. But guys, seriously, thank you so much for watching today's video. Vuce, he's back in Chicago. It's going to be a lot of fun to see this Bulls team play next year. They just got to make a couple more moves, and I think you could get me the buy-in to maybe the Bulls winning a playoff series next year. But we'll see you guys next time. As always, go Bulls.